Well, hello. It's afternoon now. Woo! I had a day off, so I was doing some stuff inside. But here we go. Chapter 16. You are a badass. It's a little short one, but let's get her done, okay, peeps? Loosen your bone, Wilma! I'm better in the afternoon, eh? You don't paddle against the current. You paddle with it. And if you get good at it, you throw away the oars. That's by Chris Christopherson. Several years ago, I went on an wow, I thought I was good, but wait, listen up. Several years ago, I went on a life-changing trip to India. In case you haven't witnessed it yourself, India is heaving with life and swarming blur of brilliant colors, honking cars, wandering cows, packed trains, endless slums, elaborate palaces, ancient temples, and sweet-smelling incense. It's literally full to the brim of humanity, padding and chanting. And sitting on top of you while you struggle for space on an overbooked train, your only options are: 1, go with the flow and get to know your neighbor, or 2, grow a big, fat, stress-related tumor. The thing that made perhaps the biggest impression on me there was how nearly everyone I met went for an option number 1. In India, some people will spoon you on a bus if you fall asleep next to them, roll down their windows to chat with you in traffic, jam, stare unblinkedly at your non-Indianness, help you if you're lost, insist you get in the family photos at historical monuments, invite you in for tea, burp, fart, and laugh in your face. It's totally annoying. My kind of peeps. And sweet, and makes me think they clearly know something important that I've long forgotten, and that I suspect most of the world has forgotten too. I didn't have to darken the doorway of an ashram or stick a red dot on my forehead to partake in any of the other thousands of spiritual options the country is famous for offering. Who needs them? As far as I'm concerned, you can learn pretty much everything you need to know about spiritually and life by taking a 12-hour bus ride through India during wedding season. When I bought my ticket on a Super Deluxe Express bus to Dalia to Agra, home from the Taj Mahal, I was told I was paying a wise 400 rupees extra for the luxury of a 4-hour non-stop ride, as opposed to the 10 hours and countless stops of local bus. I was so extremely exhausted from the 3 sleepless days I'd spent whooping it up in the Camel Festival in the desert that I thought of hunkering down on a Super Deluxe and sleeping all the way to Delhi. Sounded good to me. But what I got instead was a seat next to my friendly and middle-aged man who spoke 3 words of English, and who insisted on chatting me up even though I was doing what I thought was a very convincing job of fake sleeping, and a very real job of having no freaking idea what he was saying. The bus left an hour late due to a massive confusion of overbooking, and took almost 2 hours to get out of town thanks to the fact that it was November, peak wedding season. Weddings in India traditionally involve a ceremony that lasts for days, stretching for miles, welcomes anyone caught in the crossfire, and includes a parade through the streets complete with horses, marching bands, explosives, a car with a loudspeaker blaring Indian music, and most important, wedding announcements, and a bunch of guys carrying what looks like a table lamps on their heads. My bus ended up getting trapped in wedding festivity pretty much every 10 minutes, which meant that everyone on the bus, every time we stopped, skipped off and joined the party. When we finally did get out of town, we kept pulling it over to let random people on and off in the middle of nowhere. Have some tea, a smoke, a chat, maybe light a fire in the brush in a ditch, or strap giant burlap sacks full of something large and bulbous to the roof. At some point, this guy got on who was standing by the side of the road on the darkness. We scooped him up without coming to a full stop, and he took his place at the front of the bus, standing right next to my seat, and immediately began hollering at everyone in Hindi. My busmates responded by cheering, chanting, and sitting in silence, while I responded by seeing if I could find another seat farther away from his mouth. I got up and joined the group of people sitting on rickety benches around the bus driver, who was in the room behind a wall of glass. The people huddling around him made room for me, and suddenly I felt like I was watching an action movie on a screen the size of a giant bus windshield. We were careening through the narrow dirt streets of tiny villages, Bollywood music crackling over the radio, while people, goats, and monkeys leaped out of the way, slowing down only for the almighty holy cow. Then, all of a sudden, in some tiny nowhere village, he pulls over yet again. More chai, perhaps? Maybe he's going to go visit a friend. Has to pee? Wants to take a walk for an hour while we all sit here? The driver waves for me to follow and gets off, as does everyone on the bus. It turns out that Mr. Yell in my ear was some sort of holy man who was just warming up the crowd for a tour of the temple in a small, gorgeous village called Vrindavan. I'm sorry if I'm ruining these words. It is, I learned, the place where Krishna met his wife Radha, and where they built hundreds of temples in their honor. So for the next 2 hours, I found myself wandering through countless temples, gaily tossing flowers into shrines, holding hands and circling in a circle, and skipping in a circle around the statue of Krishna, solemnly chanting, praying, and clapping, and all I could think was how homicidal a bus of New Yorkers on express bus from New York to D.C. would be in a similar situation. Meanwhile, not one person on the bus was expecting this, and not one person complained, even though, when we finally got on the bus, it was well past the time we were supposed to be arriving in Delhi, and we were still a good 5 hours away. Instead, they all thanked and tipped the holy man and spent the rest of the ride merrily chanting away with another. After that, we stopped at a roadside restaurant for dinner, then another pee break. Then I was waking up a family, and I was staying in Delhi at 3 a.m. They, of course, acted like it was the middle of the afternoon and insisted I share a cup of tea. Here's what India taught me about tapping into the mother lode. Talk to strangers. We're all family on this planet. Expect and enjoy the unexpected. Find the humor. Join the party. Live in the moment. Time spent enjoying yourself is never time wasted. Share your space. Loosen your bone, Wilma! And again, love yourself. And life becomes a party. And that is it for today, peeps. See you tomorrow.